If you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, here are the 5 things to keep a close eye on this season. After one of the most disappointing years in franchise history, there are so many things this season that are really exciting and really worth paying attention to. So without further ado, let's get into that top 5. Here at number 5, we have Caulfield and Nick Suzuki continuing to grow their game and develop as our star players. As it stands right now, just under a tenth of the season in, both Nick Suzuki and Caulfield lead the Canadiens with 7 points each. Caulfield having 5 of those being goals, and Nick Suzuki almost even with 3 goals and 4 assists. It took Caulfield way over half the season last year to get 7 points. It took him way over half the season to even get more than a goal. So with him having 5 goals and 7 points within the first 8 games, almost a point per game, is insane. As for Nick Suzuki, he had quite a decent season last year, despite the whole team being a dumpster fire. And so far, he's continued that this season, and he's being even more productive. So both our star players are being the stars we need them to be. I hope their game continues to grow and continues to develop. And hopefully, by the end of the season, we could see very close to a point per game from Suzuki. And I'm hoping for 30 to 35 goals from Caulfield, which I think is super doable, considering at the moment he's on a 51 goal pace. Also, not to mention, almost all of these points, if not all, are on 5-on-5 even strength points because the Montreal Canadiens power play is straight up horrible. So hopefully they get that clicking, and that'll help them produce even more points to a higher rate, and I think it'll help their development even more. So yeah, that's it for number 5 with Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. So let's get into number 4. At number 4, I have the trade value of certain players on this team. That's right. We all know that there's a lot of players that Kent Hughes is going to be actively shopping throughout the season and for sure at the trade deadline. Some of these players are Mike Hoffman, Dadonov, Dvorak, Drouin, all those kind of names, right? So we know a lot of these guys are underperforming and it's kind of hard to watch. But these are the guys that are going to get traded at the deadline, at least most of them, I believe. So we need these guys to hopefully get their value up and get their game back on track so that other teams actually want them and we can get the highest return possible from them. So that's why this is number 4 on my list. I think it's very important to see these guys start getting their game back, start producing a lot more and just starting to look like eye candy to these other GMs so that inevitably we get the best return possible for them. Because every other GM, like at least playoff contending teams, they're always looking to make their team that much better. And they know that the Montreal Canadiens have players that are going to be gone by the trade deadline. So they're going to keep a close eye on these players. And that's why I think we should keep a close eye on them too. All right, so that's it for number 4. Now for number 3, I have watching the young defensemen on our team learning to grow their game and continue to take more positive steps towards their future career. As we know, Jordan Harris, Caden Gooley, and Arbor Jacki are pretty much all getting a lot of minutes and a lot of opportunity due to the fact that Mike Matheson and Edmondson are out. But when they come back, I really hope these young guys stay in. But anyways, since they've been here, in the 8 games they've played, they have been no disappointment at all, and they've been super fun to watch. Every game, they seem to get a little better, and there's just so much diversity in their games as well. So always super fun to watch. And yeah, I think it's really important for us as fans to keep an eye out for these guys. I do hope they get to stay with the club as long as possible. I know players like Gooley will. There's no chance he doesn't. But it's a little questionable for Harris or Jacki due to the veterans that will be coming back. But yeah, these guys are super big pieces in our future. So it's really important for these guys to continue to shine and continue to get better and better night in and night out. So that is why I have these guys at number 3 on the watch list. Now, we are into the top 2. And for number 2, I have keeping up with the young prospects. We have so many prospects down the pipeline for the Montreal Canadiens, but the huge ones that we love to see, and they're really new to this organization as well. But some of those guys are like Philip Machar, Owen Beck, Lane Hudson, Logan Mailloux, even I'm still going to consider Youre Slafkovsky, because even he's been playing with the Montreal Canadiens a bit. I'm still going to consider him as one of our prospects, But yeah, these guys are going to be super entertaining and super fun to watch this season. They've been putting up a clinic in their individual leagues. Lane Hudson's destroying it in the NCAA. Both Philip Machar and Owen Beck are having insane multi-point nights, helping their teams win many games, and they're just a super bright spot there in the OHL. As well as Logan Mailloux. He started the season a little later than some, but he's been phenomenal for his team as well. He scored an OT winner last night. Honestly, it's just such great news to see these prospects panning out so far. And of course, Youre Slafkovsky, he's been playing with the team so far. He's been a healthy scratch the past game, and then he was injured the last two, but he has a goal in the NHL. And every single night, every single shift he steps foot on the ice, I am just drawn to him. I just watch him, and I'm just very intrigued to see how he develops his game. So yeah, the prospects are one of the biggest things in this organization that we have going for us right now. They are just very high-level prospects with a huge ceiling, and I didn't even mention all of them. There are still so many that are good, so keep an eye out for them all season long. Others include Joshua Roy, Struble, all those guys, Sean Farrell. The list goes on and on and on. So that's why I have the prospects at number 2. Now for number 1, drum roll please, I have the Atlantic race. What I mean by this is the Atlantic Division and the race for the playoffs. Now, you may be asking, how does this affect the Habs? They probably won't even make the playoffs. Sure, I agree. They don't make the playoffs. I'm completely fine with that. But it's who does and doesn't make it in the Atlantic Division that matters. Most importantly, the Florida Panthers. Since we hold their 2023 unprotected pick, we need these guys to fall out of the playoffs. At the beginning of the year, my predictions for the playoffs for the Atlantic Division were the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Lightning, and Florida Panthers. I thought those were the top 3. As for the wild card, I thought Boston would make it. But now, the Boston Bruins have been amazing. And this is without Brad Marchand and Charlie McAvoy. Marchand came and played his first game of the season literally last night, and they've only lost 1 game this season. So I don't think Boston will be a wild card spot. I think they're going to be in that top 3, which helps this plan a lot better. As for the Lightning and the Maple Leafs, they've been a bit of a disappointment so far. They're losing to teams they shouldn't be losing to, but I have no doubt they'll get back on track and they'll make those playoff spots. Now, all there is left is for the Ottawa Senators to come up clutch and finally take a step out of their rebuild situation and make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, as well as the Boston Bruins, the Lightning, and the Maple Leafs, just maybe will the Florida Panthers fall out of the race. And that is everything we need as Canadiens fans. We need Florida to fall out of that race. And hopefully their pick, that is our pick, wins the lottery or just is a top 10 pick at most. If it's a top 10 pick, we are super lucky, and that is amazing for us because hopefully our own pick as well is top 10. So if we could have 2 picks in the top 10 or even top 15, that would be amazing. But for this to happen, we do need the Florida Panthers to not make the playoffs, and that is why I have the Atlantic race at number 1 to keep your eye on this season. Anyways, guys, if you did enjoy this video, don't be afraid to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought of the video. If there's anything else that's super important to you that we should keep an eye out as Montreal Canadiens fans. And yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Take care.